How you doing? This is Greg Coxe coming to you here, just finishing up our live presentation here at the company sales rally. We got a special guest here with us today, Coxe, who has a book out there, Don't Let Others Rent Space in Your Head. Came here to do a special presentation with us. We just wanted to take a quick moment, just a few minutes here, just kind of talk some of the highlights and things of that we thought were the key points of what we had in the speech today from Gary. So Gary, thanks a lot for coming. I appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure. So one thing you talked about is about being persistent and how the persistency when folks, you know, they need to follow through from a standpoint. Explain that a little bit.
Well, I think all of us would admit if we want to be more successful at anything, whatever it is, we have to be more persistent. Right. So I like to give people formulas. So if we're not persistent, we need to know why. Because if you can't figure out the why, you can't figure out the how. It's like being depressed. If you don't know why you're depressed, how are you going to figure out how to fix it other than alcohol, meds, or whatever we're going to use, right? So the reason, psychologically, if we're not persistent and need to be, there's three reasons. Number one, we often get too overly concerned about what other people think. Now, I don't mean be arrogant, like, I don't care what you think, I'm going to beat on your door. But, you know, you got to be balanced. And coupled with, you have to have a high value or level of importance, not only, you know, in yourself, but also in your products and services. And you also have to have a very strong belief. And you cannot have one without the other. You've got to have those three things. Right. So when you have that, if your belief is so strong and your value is so strong, it makes it easier for me to take your no and then come back to you again and come back to you again. I may not do this 5 times in a day. I may do it 5 times over a month, over a year, or whatever. But when you know, if you're not persistent, immediately go to those three things. Oh, am I overly concerned about what other people think today? Where's my value at? How important is this to me? And my belief. Where's my belief in my company, in my product, and my services, and myself? Right. And there's a lot of things that can happen on a day-to-day basis that can attack that. So yesterday, you could be like right up there, and then today, it's gone. So if you go back to those three things, you'll be able to identify what was it that I bought into that altered those, and that's where your answer is going to be.
So it's kind of like the perception where it takes 21 days to create a pattern and stuff like that, where, you know, I have to do this for 21 days in order to create a change in what goes in my life. You know, if you believe in it, you can actually make it happen quicker and more.
Yeah, that's nonsense. People say, you know, it takes 21 days to change a bad habit or behavior, as you know. One of the things that I specialize in doing is taking people who have psychological limitations, as you saw me do today, and within seconds or less, behavior can change that quickly. So yeah, watch what you buy into. I mean, we tell ourselves so much junk if we're not careful. And the thing is it becomes so real to us that it must be right, and that's why the way it is today, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it was a great little exercise. You know, we had written down belief and value, and we talked and we covered up the belief. Yeah. You know, without the belief, you know, that doesn't matter what the value is. You don't believe in it. Right. And if you cover up the value, and then if you don't believe in it, then you won't do it either.
Exactly.
So really, it's just time.
It's like getting get your commission check. You know, you get a big commission check. It feels good. Why? Two things happen. You allowed the thought or the idea of that check, especially when you see it and touch it and feel it, it instantly increases your value and belief. Now it becomes more real to you. You know what it's like? It's like somebody who's never bowled before. They go to the bowling alley and they throw a ball and they get another gutter ball, and they get another gutter ball and another one, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, they got a strike. What happens now? They really think the next time they get up there, they're going to hit another strike, and they've never bowled before. It's ridiculous. So they get up there all fancy, like, you know, they got it all figured out, and what do? Throw a gutter ball again.
So you're saying if I believe enough, I'll bowl 300?
I'm not saying that at all. Practice, 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 Greg.
I got you.
You had some super examples of how important the values are, the value of whatever you're trying to achieve. Sure.
Yeah, Marty, it's a level of importance. How important is it to you? You know, the illustration I give people, you can have a Maserati. I'll tell you, you got a Maserati. It'll go from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds, but it doesn't have an engine. So what good is belief without a value or an engine? So having a beautiful Maserati without an engine does you no good. So you can believe all you want. You know, you can say the affirmations, I believe I'm a this, I'm a this, I'm a that. But if you haven't placed a level of value or a level of importance on all of this, all you are is the Maserati without the engine. So I encourage people to think about what you did in activity last month. And as you look back into your activity last month, your success or your results depended upon those two things, your value and belief. That's what caused you to take action. Well, if you took a certain amount of action, we'll call that X. That amount of action, X, was dependent upon where your level of value and belief was. So if we didn't take enough action, in other words, probably not getting enough results, what does that say about our value and belief? It's too low. So what we've got to do is go in there and say, okay, what can I do to increase this? And that's what we focus on. And if we can focus on that, we're going to take a lot more action, we're going to be a lot more consistent, and we're going to be able to handle a lot of the negativity, if you will, or the rejection and all the stuff that comes in being an entrepreneur.
Yes. So go ahead.
The man that you talked about that had the smoking problem,
yeah,
he quit. That's a powerful example to me of the
change up. Yeah, it's what I mentioned to your team is, I knew a gentleman who wanted to quit smoking. And he tried to for years until one day he walked down the hall of his house and he saw his 3-year-old daughter pretending to smoke a crayon. For him, that's all it took. So we've got to define that click. Every one of us have that. We just have to understand that the possibility exists of where it's at. We may not be able to put our finger on it all the time or know where it's at, but if we understand at least the possibility exists, now it shifts our thinking and we're looking for answers as opposed to throwing in the towel mentally.
Fantastic. So one of the things we talked about, I think, early on within the program, and I apologize, now I totally lost my train of thought there for a second, I guess, the key thing is, we're trying to get folks, when they have to get done with the seminar, they don't follow through, and they don't continue on with the program, or they don't do the steps necessary. They kind of, is it the belief that actually,
both.
The belief that they can accomplish it, or the both that they can achieve that goal? They value the belief.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think what happens is if we don't have an ultimate purpose in life, a lot of times if we're not careful, we'll just do the same routine. We'll wake up, we take care of the kids, we send them to school, we come home, we cook, we clean the school again, the kids in the same room, whatever it is, over and over and over. So you can have a why without a purpose, but you cannot have a purpose without a why. So if you have a real purpose of why you do what you do, and it's in front of you all the time, and you're always stretching and you're growing, you're going to have an easier, if you will, ability to increase and keep that value and belief high. So, like I said earlier, the belief alone is not enough. But value is the importance. It's that purpose behind everything you do. And when we lack that purpose, we lack a lot of drive and motivation as well.
So that's why people give up on go on a diet or whatever it is, quit smoking,
yeah.
whatever that is, whatever the
end goal is. Let's say the end goal is to quit, lose weight. Let's say.
Okay.
So they're starting to lose weight. They look at the scale, and now instead of losing weight, they gain 3 pounds or 1 pound. What that thought is, after they look at that 1 pound increase, the immediate thought is going to change them. They can say, I worked so hard and all I've done is, and I'm supposed to lose weight and I spent all this money and time and I gained a weight. And all of a sudden they bought into that. If they're not careful, it's that moment that most people aren't consciously aware of that instantly decreases the value and belief. Now we start to resign mentally or whatever. So yeah, the thing is most people are not being aware of it. We've got to really take our awareness to a whole nother level so we can it's like being, eggs, walking on eggs a little bit there. But when you have that awareness, you're no longer like a kite in the wind. Wherever you get blown, that's where you go. And you can't control your emotions or your finances, your life that way.
Yeah, so whether it be a personal level or a business level or a professional level, if it's more money or whatever it is, just to continue on that path. But you also mentioned that you have to give up something in order to achieve that. And you have to understand what that is.
Yeah.
You have to identify what you're giving up specifically. And not just general terms.
Yeah, you can't just say, I want to give up time.
Okay. Yeah, so give something specifically and understand that you're already going to give up that portion and get comfortable with it. But that's not an easy task, is it?
No, and the sad thing about it is if we don't get this, everybody out there is giving something up. They're just not consciously aware of it, and that's why when they're giving it up, it's so painful and they hate it. Yeah. So if I tell you that you're going to have to give up football Monday night for the next 2 months or something like that, and you know specifically why you're giving it up, it makes it a little easier for you to miss it, But you have a reason why you're doing it. But if you don't have a reason for it, you're just doing it to do it because to make the wife happy or to make this person happy or whatever, there's no rhyme or reason behind it, and now you're going to be like everybody else out there if you're not careful. It's very discouraging. There's no purpose behind it. Whereas now when you have the right purpose and value and belief behind it, you can kind of enjoy missing something like that if you need to, because your whole perception changes, and that's where we want to go.
Well, I tell you what, I really do appreciate it. You were a fantastic speaker. It was great to have you here to come to our company meeting. So, and all the other agents in the office, and feel free to go to Gary's website. It's Gary Coxe, and it's COXE.com. Don't forget the E at the end. and go out there, take a look at some of the other stuff that he has out there. He's got a great book out there. He's in St. Louis right now, working on another book. Really, we know what he's here for. He's here to watch the playoffs of the Cardinals game.
I gotta miss that because it's no, I'm just kidding.
But again, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure, thank you.
And we'll see you guys here very soon. Take care.